National Security Advisor John Bolton is fired after disagreements on national security. In Northern California, the Walker fire continues to burn. And latest from Apple this morning, the iPhone 11 will soon be released to the public.
Good afternoon and welcome to Matador News. I'm Bea Barros.
And I'm Tyler Ridgle. President Trump fires John Bolton early today and released his announcement on Twitter. The National Security Advisor and the president were torn on the direction of foreign and national security policy. Bolton says he offered to resign last night, but the president said that they would talk about it today. Bolton makes the third national security advisor to step down from Trump. Trump alleges on Twitter he invited delegates from Afghanistan, including the Taliban, to Camp David for peace talks. The meeting was soon canceled. Trump considers the peace negotiations to be dead.
North Korea has launched 2 projectiles towards the sea. Hours later, the North Korean government told the U.S. it wanted to continue nuclear diplomacy, but the foreign minister says any proposals will have to please them or negotiations will be over. President Trump says the statement was interesting and want to know what's happened next. South Korea says it wants to supervise the North Korea plans to launch projectiles again.
Hong Kong protesters are trying to get help from the United States. They have submitted a letter to the U.S. consulate asking officials to take control of the situation if Hong Kong does not move to become autonomous from China. Protests have been going on for several months. Protesters' demands are still the same: resignation of Chief Executive Carrie Lam, an inquiry to police violence, release of arrested protesters, and greater democratic freedom. Ex-Marine General from U.S. says protesters should get U.S. support for standing for human rights.
The damage from Hurricane Dorian has been monumental. The death total climbed to a total of 50 as of yesterday, but is expected to rise. Bahamian Renard Oliver is one of the many seeking refuge in the U.S. President Trump says everyone needs to have...
baby girl.
They were saying that they just got a call from CBP, and CBP told them that everyone that doesn't have a U.S. visa and who's traveling on police record has to come off.
How do you feel?
At the last minute like this, it's kind of disappointing. It's hurtful because watching my daughters cry.
President Trump says everyone needs to have proper documentation before entering the U.S. The 100+ removed from the ferry were supposed to be taken to the capital of Nassau to get visas. United States Customs and Border Protection delivered food, water, and other resources to the Bahamas.
It's National Suicide Prevention Week. Matador News reporter Georgia Rios is live in the newsroom with more.
Thanks, Tyler. In the U.S., suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. According to the CDC, on average, one person dies by suicide every 2 hours in the state of California. Some CSUN students say the suicide is a problem here on campus.
Well, suicide is a really big problem, so I think it's very important for students to know about it.
I kind of speak from experience that stress coming from backgrounds and everything, and also coming to a new school and everything might be hard for some people, and just things they have to go throughout things out of school, problems at home, problems with other people. It just creates problems that sometimes overwhelm the person.
If you or someone you know needs help, CSUN offers mental health services at the Counseling Center in Bayramian Hall. You can also call the national hotline number at 1-800-273-8255. For Matador News, I'm Georgia Rios. Let's go back to Bea in the studio.
To Georgia, the fires is still burning in Plumas National Forest in Northern California. The Walker fire started almost a week ago and burned about 44,000 acres. The Forest Services says fires about 7% under control. Hot temperatures and dry weathers are to blame for the fire's fast growth. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Mandatory evacuations in place for affected residents.
The Indian Space Research Organization's Vikram lander has crash-landed near the moon's south pole. The Vikram lander carried a small rover designed to look for evidence of water on the moon's surface. Indian scientists lost contact with it on Friday afternoon during its 15-minute descent to the surface. A successful moon landing would allow India to join the United States, Russia, and China as nations who've successfully landed on the moon. India says it will try again. A Mission Control Center sign read, "The sky is no longer the limit of our pride."
Let's go to Sofia Gutierrez for the latest in business.
Thank you, Bia. Apple is revealing its latest iPhones, iPads, and premium subscription prices. The new iPhones include the iPhone 11, iPhone 11 Pro, and iPhone 11 Pro Max. iPhones have brought in the most revenue for Apple products, but they have declined by double-digit percentages in recent quarters. At a time when competitors are launching foldable phones and 5G devices, the new Apple products are expected to look the same. Apple has also hinted at releasing more hardware updates on its products. McDonald's has purchased a voice text startup system that will automated drive-through menu. The company says it will allow for more accurate order taking. The self-serving system has been tested on several McDonald's locations and is said to break out nationwide by 2020. This could potentially reduce the use of human cashiers. Let's go to Jairo Alvarado for the latest on health news.
Thank you, Sofia. The FDA warns e-cigarette company Juul Labs about its illegal marketing. The administration commissioner says Juul has failed to provide scientific evidence that its products are safer than cigarettes. The company has 15 days to respond with an action plan to comply with the law. There's a record of at least 5 deaths across 5 states and 450 cases of lung disease across 33 states. The FDA reports vaping has increased 80% in high schools and 50% in middle schools across the nation. Governor Newsom signed Senate Bill 276, a bill limiting vaccines exemptions in schools. Senator and author Richard Penn says children are at risk in schools where children are not vaccinated. The bill is meant to protect children from vaccinated preventable diseases. Let's go to Sofia Gutierrez for the latest on entertainment news.
Thanks, Jairo. Kanye West held his Sunday services in his hometown of Chicago this weekend. Tickets for the free event went live just a day before and were claimed within minutes. The rapper's gospel-inspired event was 90 minutes long and included a spiritual version of his own Jesus Walks and Snoop Dogg's Drop It Like It's Hot. Chicago native Chance the Rapper made an appearance and joined the choir to sing the duo's song, Ultralight Beam. Alex Trebek is back on Jeopardy! The 79-year-old host was announced he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer earlier this year. Trebek was left emotional after hearing he beat the odds with just 4 months after starting treatment. He made his return for the 36th season of the show. Let's go back to Jairo with the top news in sports.
Thanks again, Sofia. The New Orleans Saints stunned the Houston Texans at home with a 58-yard game-winning field goal as time expired.
58-yard attempt for the win! Got it!
The Texans had taken the lead at the end of the game. With 37 seconds left in the game, Drew Brees led the Saints to field goal range, setting up Saints kicker Will Lutz for the game-winning field goal. Red Sox legend Big Papi David Ortiz surprises fans as he returns to Fenway Park to speak to the audience and throw the first pitch.
I want to thank the Red Sox, my real family. They always have been there for me, supporting me. They were aware of what happened to me, and they were the first one there supporting me. Thank you very much, Red Sox family.
Ortiz's first public appearance since his shooting 3 months ago in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz is awaiting a full recovery before going back to television. Next week is Rush Week here at CSUN. Let's go to Matador News reporter Damian Gordon for the story.
Over the next 2 weeks, fraternities and sororities will be recruiting CSUN students to join them in Greek life. CSUN is home to over 50 Greek letter organizations that help students make college feel more like a home. We spoke with 3 members of the Phi Mu sorority about how they became involved with Greek life and how someone else could join.
My own community within the Greek system here. I honestly never saw myself in the Greek system at all.
Rediscovered myself, and I definitely found my home away from home.
More than just being part, like we do philanthropy and all that. We do like IMs and all that. We're just getting more involved around the school. And
Greek life has sporting events, fundraisers, and other events to benefit the community. Now, let's go back to the studio for some more news.
The next 10 days mark Palindrome Week in the U.S. Dates written in day, month, year format will appear the same if writing in reverse, so today is 91019. That's the same backwards and forwards. Every year since 2011 contained 10 consecutive palindrome days, but this phenomenon will not happen again for almost 100 years. In the year 2111, enjoy while it lasts.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. With Matador News, I'm Tyler Ridgle,
Bea Barros,
Jairo Alvarado,
and Sofia Gutierrez. See you next week.